So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
This is Atlantic Television Network Global News at 9 p.m. On to the headlines. The House of Assembly commends President Bola Tinubu on new minimum wage bill. Suspected bandits shut down farms in Zamfara. 300-level varsity students dies in bathroom. MTN shuts down offices nationwide. Vietnam-era U.S. war criminal is dead. Arsenal to sign Victor Osimhen. Wande Cole claims new generation sounds. And now to the news in details. The Rivers State House of Assembly has commended the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for signing the National Minimum Wage Bill into law. Presenting his motion to commend President Bola Tinubu for timelessly signing the new National Minimum Wage Bill into Act, Honorable Emeni Alabo George, member representing Asari Toru Constituency 2, applauded President Tinubu for his uncommon leadership in his approval of the new minimum wage without any form of administrative bottleneck, adding that the new minimum wage enjoys the support of a cross-section of the Nigerian society. Members in their debate supported the motion and urged the House to resolve as prayed by the mover of the motion. Commenting on the motion.
Mr. Speaker, we are aware that we are mindful of the fact that there is a planned protest in Nigeria, and we are also aware of the history of past protests that hoodlums, criminals hijack such protests to cause unwarranted destruction of lives and property. And so we are appealing, this motion is a persuasive motion, appealing to the organizers of this protest to share identify those issues raised and identified by these plant protesters, and the government is already addressing those issues.
Commenting on the motion, the Speaker, RT Honorable Martin Chikia Mehule, commended the President Bola Tinubu for signing the National Minimum Wage Bill into law. He also commended the honorable members for their contributions.
Good thing. The River State House Assembly definitely is happy with these improvements, because we will always stand with the people, the workers of this country. So we commend Mr. President for this show of love, for his leadership, for rising up to the occasion at the time when the quest for an upward review became rife, not only in the public space, the private sector, the public sector. We believe that what Mr. President has done is good, is the right step in the right direction. So I commend honorable members for their contributions.
The House, however, proposed a motion to speak to the youth and the organizers of the nationwide protest to shield their sword for dialogue, noting that the last protest that happened in the country saw the protest being hijacked by hoodlums that caused destruction of lives and property. The Honorable and members also called on the River State youths and people to shun the nationwide protest, noting that the protest will cause more harm than good in the state.
For the concerned citizens that want to go into this protest, let them consider what is happening in Nigeria when this kind of protest goes on. The people you want to protest for are being the people that is being hurt on the process. Shops are being looted, and these shops are still the citizens of the same place, of the same Nigeria you are fighting for.
The RT Honorable Speaker, however, drew the attention of the House to the mayhem that happened on last protest caused in the state, noting that shops, goods and businesses were vandalized by the hoodlums who hijacked the last protests. RT Honorable Amehule emphasized that the president have done enough since his assumption into office. He noted that the president recently sent truckloads of rice to each state of the federation to cushion the effect of economic hardship in the country, and he also called for dialogue between the government and the protesters.
This House is now aware of the planned protests across this country. That is why the Speaker came up with this motion. Whisper to his prayer is urging the organizers of this planned protest to share the plans and seek the option of constructive dialogue.
In another story, elders of the All Progressives Congress APC in Bayelsa State have probed the state governor Duye Diri for accusing former Petroleum Minister Chief Timipre Silva of sponsoring the hardship protest in the state. The APC elders said Silva had in a recent statement begged the Nigerian youths to stand by President Bola Tinubu and give him more time to solve the country's problems. The APC Elders Forum, in a statement signed by its Secretary Chief Clarkson Ayiba Priye, said Silva has always been known for suing for peace, adding that it is disgusting for a governor in office to wait so long to issue an important message after getting a prompting from Silva's mature statement. We state that Governor Duye in his double agent and desperate quest for APC stolen in the courts. Remember, Diri's romance with top APC chieftains in Abuja began immediately a court case probing his so-called victory arose. The statement added, the elder said Diri worked for and was heavily sponsored by the PDP and his direct boss Alhaji Atiku Abubakar during the last election, adding that the Bayelsa governor did everything within his power to truncate Tinubu's victory. Bayelsa State government have commenced the distribution of rice and other foodstuffs donated to the state by the federal government to cushion the effect of the harsh economy on the people. The distribution of the foodstuffs was flagged off in Yenagoa, the state capital, by Governor Duye Diri at the 34th State Security Council meeting. Said no political appointees or civil servants should benefit from the distributions, adding that the Bayelsa state government received 20 truckloads of 25 kg of rice from the federal government for distribution to vulnerable people. Speaking during the distribution, the Commissioner for Information, Orientation and Strategy, Ebowu Koku Obiai, said the governor had already directed that the items be given to vulnerable persons in other political wards in the state. The commissioner also said the sharing would be done per ward, as each ward would get 190 bags of 25 kilograms of rice and 30 bags of gari, while chairman of Bayelsa State Emergency Management Agency, Walaman Igrubia, said all critical stakeholders from each local government area were involved in the sharing exercise to avoid diversion. Seven children have lost their lives in cholera outbreak in 8 local government areas in Delta State. Delta State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Joseph Onojaime, who disclosed this on Tuesday in Asaba, blamed the deaths on poor sanitary environments and stressed the need for regular hand washing, drinking of potable water, and maintenance of clean and hygienic environments. He explained that cholera is a bacterial infection spread by the consumption of infected water and food and results in watery stool, dehydration, and electrolytes, adding that the state government's intervention is adequate. Earlier, the Commissioner for Information, Dr. Ifeanyi Souza, said the press conference was to enable his colleague give a comprehensive update on the cholera outbreak to the public and urged the residents to support the government to achieve a holistic result in terms of defeating the scourge. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons has arrested 115 suspected human traffickers and rescued 75 victims in Akwa Ibom, Cross Rivers, and River State. The Zonal Commander of NAPTIP, Emmanuel Amwem, who disclosed this in Uyo, said the zone comprises Akwa Ibom, Cross River, and River State. While out of the 75 victims rescued, 25 of them have been empowered with skills in tailoring, hairdressing, barbing, and shoemaking, adding that during the period, NAPTIP charged 15 cases to court and secured 3 convictions, while 12 cases were won. The zonal commander appealed to judges to give special attention to human trafficking cases to serve as a deterrent to other traffickers. Analyst says moving from one party to the other does not clearly indicate political interest for national growth. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Conversation, a political analyst, Chuba Opozo, said party ideology and the need to serve the citizens better should be the main focus for defecting to another party.
We do not really understand what they stand for as regards to our nation's growth, because it's not about defecting, it's about what you people are standing for today. There's really no ideology from any of the political parties that we can hold hands to say this is the viewpoint of this political party, these are the ideologies of the stakeholders and leaders. Everybody's just trying to show their political strength. And
Chuba also said party defection is very much not necessary considering the current political structure of the nation.
It's not something to cheer about in the Nigerian sphere today. I think it's just a question for the politicians to consider. If the person has the clout enough to pull any strings, that is one. Secondly, with the present Nigerian demographic, to what end is political party and population and persons? To a large extent, for me, it has little or no effect. But be that as it may, was a former personal assistant.
This is coming after about 500 coordinators of the All Progressives Congress in 7 local government areas of Cross River State, South Senatorial District have defected to opposition People's Democratic Party, saying they found the PDP more reliable. The Abia State Governor Alex Oti has appealed to traditional rulers, leaders of religious organizations and other community leaders to advise their people against resorting to violence, even as youths across the country plan to start the End Bad Governance protest on August 1st, 2024. The governor also expressed concerns that the planned nationwide protest may escalate into violence, potential harming vulnerable and weak individuals in the country. Oti acknowledged that Nigerians have the right to protest against poor conditions, but expressed concern that any good intentions of the original organizers of the national protest may be undermined if opportunists and hoodlums hijack the protests to incite disorder and youths to exercise restraint and engage with leaders through a charter of demands, and vowed that his administration will do everything possible to protect the people from harm and destruction. A few hours after the Imo State Police Commissioner Abuki Danjuma held a crucial stakeholders meeting, suspected gunmen have killed 4 police officers and 1 female POS operator. The police commissioner, who confirmed the incident, ordered the command's tactical units to go all out in collaboration with other sister agencies to hunt down the hoodlums responsible for the attack. The incident, which occurred along the Owerri-Onitsha Expressway, where the operatives who were on routine patrol at Irete were ambushed by the attackers. A statement issued by the spokesperson of the command, ASP Henry Okoye, said the 4 officers were killed during a gun battle between the police and the attackers, adding that on receipt of the unfortunate incident, the commissioner of the police immediately mobilized to the scene for an on-the-spot assessment of the ugly incident, wherein the lifeless bodies of the deceased were evacuated and deposited at the mortuary for preservation, while the injured victim was rushed to a nearby hospital where he is currently responding to treatment. The release said the police commissioner expressed sadness over the unfortunate incident and vowed that the command would leave no stone unturned in ensuring that the perpetrators were all arrested and brought to justice, stressing that the miscreants responsible for the attack had murdered peace. 3 persons have been shot dead at different places within Akwa, the Anambra State capital. This is coming after the shooting at Ifite, which left an unidentified Kogi State indigene who was said to be a tricycle operator dead. A witness said the shooting in Ukwoji happened at about 5 p.m. at the St. Faith Cathedral area, close to the popular Eke Akwa Market and Amoabias area. Meanwhile, the State Police Command has maintained seal face of the killings. The State Police Command spokesperson SP Tochukwu Ikenga did not reply while the various incidents of killings in Akwa, which have been attributed to cultism. The member representing Akwa 1 State constituency, Honorable Henry Mbachu, had, in the face of the challenge, held a security summit in June, bringing together various stakeholders to seek a way out of the killings, but it has persisted. Enugu State Governor Peter Mbah says his administration will generate over 100 billion naira from livestock production and processing. This initiative, the governor said, was expected to stimulate economic growth and enhance the capacity of farmers in animal husbandry and fortify the value chain across the agricultural sector in the state. A statement while receiving a delegation from the Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project, led by National Project Coordinator Sanusi Abubakar, said the LPRES was in Enugu to launch the first model veterinary hospital and expressed his enthusiasm for timely establishment of the veterinary hospital, given the state's focus on expanding meat and dairy production to serve both local and external markets. He said The recent enacted Enugu State Ranch Management Agency law was designed to unlock economic opportunities, create employment in the livestock sector, and contribute to the growth of the state's gross domestic production from $4.4 billion to $30 billion. He called on investors to seize the opportunity in the new ranch law. The veterinary hospital and the robust partnership between the state and the El Press to invest in the state and assure that the security of lives, property and investments would be sustained. The Lagos State chapter of the National Youth Council of Nigeria has urged Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to establish a youth desk in the 57 local governments and local council development areas. The youth group said the development will enable the young people to have direct engagement with those running government affairs at the local level. The state chairman of the Youth Council, Adigun Olalekon, who made the appeal during a Youth World press conference at the Ikeja Youth Center, appealed to the governor to also listen to the aspects of the yearnings of the young people in the state. While distancing itself from the planned August settled end bad governance in Nigeria, the group urged the youth in the state to opt for constructive dialogue instead of demonstrations that could result in destruction of public property, while the deputy chairman, Comfort Olafare, urged the organizers of the protests to rethink their plans to prevent a reoccurrence of the destruction witnessed during the 2020 NSAS protests. The council joined several other groups in expressing opposition to the planned protest, which is scheduled to start on August 1st and run until August 10, 2024. Analysts have stressed the need for competition in the petroleum sector in order to help control the frequent fuel scarcity and high price. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Blowout, a social political analyst, Ekie C. Ekie, faulted the Nigerian National Petroleum Commission for its inability to meet up with the high petroleum demand by the populace.
Provide petroleum product for Nigerians. So had it been, we have NNPC, several stations of them. Okay. Certainly, we may not be suffering the issue of hike. And one thing in business is, once there is high demand, price will increase. So,
Ekie said the looming hike in the price and scarcity of petroleum products across the country was as a result of the procurement rate by private oil marketers.
The issue of increment, you see, NNPC is still selling 650. Now, NNPC can sell 650, like I would say, because they already have trucks that brings product to them. The private investors in the
This is coming after motorists and commuters lamented over the sudden scarcity of premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, which is forcing an increase in transport fares by commercial bus drivers in Lagos State and other parts of the country. Osun State House of Assembly has passed for second reading 2 bills relating to the local government electoral laws in the state. The development comes weeks after the judgment of the Supreme Court upholding the financial autonomy of the local governments. While the bills titled Osun State Local Government Areas Creation and Administration Amendment Number 7, Bill 2024, the Osun Independent Electoral Commission Amendment Number 1, Bill 2024, scaled second reading after the political trusts were read. Reading the policy trust of the Osun Independent Electoral Commission Amendment Number 1 Bill, Deputy Majority Leader Adekunle Oladimeji said the amendment bill was in line with the 1999 Constitution and Supreme Court's judgment, and the creation of Osun Independent Electoral to conduct, organize, and supervise all elections into local councils in the state was in line with Section 197 of the 1999 Constitution. Oladimeji also said that the amendment of the OCEC law was necessary now to avoid conflict with the Supreme Court judgment and to strengthen the local government system so people at the grassroots could enjoy the dividend of democracy, adding that during the reading of the policy trust of the Osun State Local Government Areas Creation and Administration Amendment, Adewumi Adeyemi, lawmaker representing Obukun State Constituency, said Section 7, subsection 1 of the Constitution provided for the existence and running of local governments by elected officials, while Section 8 of the Constitution, however, empowered by the state assemblies to ensure through enacted laws that local government administration exists and their financing is guaranteed. He said the Osun Local Government Amendment Bill would, when passed into law, take care of the local government structure and compositions of executives. Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has been dragged to court by a legal practitioner and human rights activist Tope Temokun in Akure over the governor's decision to appoint caretaker committees to manage the local governments in the state instead of conducting local government elections. This comes after the chairman of the ODIEC, Dr. Joseph Aremo, had earlier declared indefinite postponement of the local government elections, which was earlier scheduled to hold in July, adding that the election was postponed on the grounds that the single political party complied with the guidelines of the proposed election. Despite the issuance of guidelines for the election on schedule, the suit had stated Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Kayode Ajulo, as well as the ODIEC as the first, second and third defendants respectively in the suit. While in the originating summons, the lawyer claimed that the provisions of the sections 1, subsection 1, subsection 2 and subsection 3 of section 7, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, and section 1, subsection 1, the Local Government Administration, Conduct of Local Government Elections and Allied Matters Law, Cap 87, Volume 2, Laws of Ondo State 2006 are being violated by the First Defendants Act of appointing and or constituting and or inaugurating transition committees to oversee the affairs of local government areas in the state. He said Aiyedatiwa's action had deprived him of his right to vote in and have a democratically elected local government council in his local government area, and sought an order of the courts to direct and or proceed to conduct local government elections in the state, to put in place democratically elected local government councils to govern or administer or oversee the affairs of local government areas in Ondo State, for the purpose of enforcing and giving effect to the orders of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court recently granted financial autonomy to the local governments in the country, declaring that it is unconstitutional for state governors to hold funds allocated for local governments administrations, adding that a state government has no power to appoint a caretaker committee and a local government council is only recognizable with a democratically elected government. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has approved hazard allowance for personnel of the State Road Traffic Management Authority with effect from Thursday, August 1st, 2024. He disclosed this during the passing out parade of 500 newly recruited OYRTMA officers and the men and the inauguration of its marshals held at the NYC orientation camp in Isheyin. The governor also inaugurated the head of service Olubunmi Oni, 2 permanent secretaries G.O. Oyedele, General Administration, and Akeem Salama of Cabinet and Special Services, and 47 others as marshals, adding that the step would enable the personnel to continue their quota to development of the state through diligent and dedicated service. The governor therefore charged them not to misplace their priorities or focus on enriching themselves unjustly, and also charged the new OYRTMA officials to work effectively and with absolute commitment. Federal government has approved the establishment of the Mandate Secretariat for Youth Affairs in the FCT, with focus to have proper means of empowering youth and growing the economy through training youth in skill acquisition and scholarship schemes. The FCT Minister Yesom Wike, who disclosed this during an interactive engagement with the residents of the Buhari and Abuja Municipal Area Council of the FCT, said it is in furtherance of the peace-building process across the FCT. Addressing the residents during the town hall engagement, which was also attended by the area council chairman and the heads of various security agencies in the Federal Capital Territory, the FCT minister said he had earlier promised to present a request for the establishment of a mandate secretariat for the youths in the FCT, adding that the president has approved as requested.
Farm produce will go to the market. I'm very happy, and the contractor had promised by December they were completed and hand over. It's a 9-kilometer route. It's interesting because one of the rules that the Secretary directed in the satellite town that must be completed. I thank God, and I believe in the contractor's record that they will live up to the expectations. I thank the area council chairman of Guadalajara for the support is given to the contractor, because at the end of the day, it is the communities here that will directly benefit. I continue to urge them to be calm, to be patient. This government is fully prepared to turn things around.
We have said that security is one crucial matter that the president has said is one of his 9-10-point agenda of the renewed hope. When we came on board, we tried to interact with all the area councils, all the stakeholders, and requests were made. I want to tell you, we have approved the building of police stations in each of the area councils again. The second person who spoke here spoke with anger. I understand. I understand what marginalization is all about. I understand how you feel. And that is where I feel. If I'm treated the way you are treated, I will be angry. Even more angry than you. But the only good thing now you have, that you have come to express your anger, not in a way, not in a violent way, not in a way that you destroy government property, but by expressing yourself to government. Let me tell the people of Buhari, that marginalization will stop now.
The minister equally assured that the perceived issues of injustice and marginalization of the indigenous people, as highlighted in the course of the engagement, would be addressed to give the people a sense of belonging in the FCT, and commended them for coming out to express their grievances in a civilized way.
And so the people of FCT say we are organized people, we are civilized, we understand the times, and also understand that this government is no more than 1 year in office. And so we have no reason to be on the street and be shouting. Because while we are on the street shouting, the only people that will hear us is the air, or the birds, or the cars that are passing. We said we prefer sitting with you to express our grievances in a more civilized manner. And that is why we are here. And I want to ask the people of FCT, if we have gotten this opportunity of sitting with ministers who refuse to send a representative to talk to us, but he came by himself to hear us. And we have opportunity to talk to him one-on-one, an opportunity that we will not have on the street. I want to ask the youth, after interacting with him, do we have any reason to be on the street?
Earlier in his address, the immediate past representative of the FCT in the Public Complaints Commission, Honorable Ezekiel Dalhatu, who spoke on behalf of the Youth Stakeholders Forum and the coalition of all youth groups across the FCT. He said the youths of the FCT have chosen to show that they are different in their approaches and reasoning, and well-organized, civilized, with understanding that this government is not more than 1 year in office. FCT Minister has carried out an inspection visit to the construction site of the 9-kilometer Paikom Kore Ibua Rural Road of the Gwagalaga Area Council, where he expressed satisfaction with the pace and quality of the work. The minister expressed confidence in the capacity of the contractor to complete the road within schedule, and thanked the Gwagalaga Area Council Chairman, Honorable Abu Jibrin Gili, for his support to the contractor. Speaking of the economic benefits of the road, Wike said the road project, when completed, will improve access to markets and rurals, adding that it would also help to address the challenges of food insecurity in the country.
Produce will go to the market. I'm very happy, and the contractor had promised by December they will complete it and hand over. It's a 9-kilometer road. It's interesting because one of the roads that the Sapele directed in the Sapele town that must be completed. I thank God, and I believe in the contractor's record that they will live up to the expectations. I thank the area council chairman of Gwagwalada for the support is given to the contractor, because at the end of the day, it is the communities here that will directly benefit. I continue to urge them to be calm, to be patient. This government is fully prepared to turn things around.
The National Crimes Commission has arrested 9 individuals suspected of involvement in internet fraud. They were arrested in the Muye area of Abuja following an intelligence-led operation by Commission's Abuja Zonal Directorate. An EFCC statement posted on Tuesday via X said operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC Abuja Zonal Directorate, have arrested 9 suspected internet fraudsters, and several items were recovered from the suspects. The commission further indicated its intention to pursue legal action against the suspects, stating that the suspects will be charged to court as soon as investigations are concluded. Nasarawa State House of Assembly has passed a bill aimed at enhancing the welfare package for personnel of the Nasarawa Youth Empowerment Agency and boosting revenue generation in its second reading. The bill is sponsored by Solomon Akwashi, representing SDP Lafia, and was discussed during plenary session with Speaker Danladi Jatudu announcing its progression. It was pointed that the bill was potential empowerment youths, various acquisition programs once it becomes into law. He praised Akwashi and other lawmakers for their constructive contributions, adding that the bill's importance will go a long way in the development of the state. Akwashiki also said the bill would create job opportunities and enhance revenue for the state government. Suspected bandits in Zamfara State has shut down over 90% of the farms in 102 communities who largely depend on agriculture to survive. The state has over the years been producing large quantities of food items, both cash and food crops, which has earned it the title of the food basket of the nation. However, with the emergence of banditry, which reared its ugly head in the state in 2009 and has defied all solutions situation, which further got out of control in 2012, has continued to make farming activities almost impossible in many parts of the state, more especially the rural areas where bandits have completely taken over. Some stakeholders said it is disheartening to note that more than 70% of the rural dwellers who survive on farming have been forced to flee urban areas for fear of the bandit attacks, while those who chose to stay behind in their villages were forced to pay levies or taxes to the bandits, adding that more than 200 villages are currently deserted as their inhabitants can no longer meet up with the assaults and repeated demands of the bandits, and the development is crippling farming activities to a halt. Speaking with the journalist in his office, the secretary of the Zamfara state government, Alhaji Abubakar Nakwada, said Governor Daud Alawal has assured that his administration will do everything humanly possible to ensure that farmers return to their farms during this farming season after adequate arrangements with security agencies. The Taraba State chapter of the Association of Local Governments have urged Nigerians, residents of the state, to reconsider the forthcoming protest in the light of the substantial and commendable efforts of the state governor, Dr. Agbu Kefas. In a statement by Algon chairman Dr. Aminu Jasur Hassan passionately appealed to all youths, women clubs and associations with Jalingo to stand and still from the proposed nationwide protest scheduled for August 1st, 2024. Hassan urged people to consider the development projects the current governor and the state embarked on and disregard the call for the protest, adding that the proposed protest might undermine the ongoing efforts and paint a picture of disunity in a time of solidarity and support that are crucial. National Emergency Management Agency says the 2024 annual flood outlook identifies Yobe as one of 31 states in a high-risk flooding in 8 local government areas. The Director General NEMA, Hajiya Zubaidu Umar, mentioned this in an inauguration of 2024 Effective Waste Management and Food Mitigation Sensitization Campaign on Tuesday in Damaturu, Yobe. Umar represented with NEMA's represented by NEMA Deputy Director of Finance and Accounts, Aminu Rinjim, said the Nigeria Hydrological Service Agency had forecast that 8 local government areas in the state were at risk of flooding in the local government areas of Bade, Jakusko, Yanusari, Gulani, Gaidam, Potiskun, Borsari, and Karsuwa. The Northwest Zonal Coordinator NEMA Garba Siraju called on the general public to desist from the habit of improper waste disposal practices, particularly the act of discarding waste into our drainage channels, adding that the clogging of drainage systems due to waste accumulation not only exacerbated the risk of flooding, but also served as a breeding ground for diseases, putting the well-being of communities at grave risk. The Executive Secretary, Yobe State Emergency Management Agency, Dr. Mohammed Goje, said Yobe had commenced sensitization programs and campaigns to the highlighted local government areas, while the agency had directed the Director, Dams and Reservoir, to keep monitoring the level and issue an early warning for the provision of evacuation sites, among other measures. A female student at Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, Naja Atu Salisu, has been confirmed dead after slumping in a bathroom. The 200-level student of science died after she was found unconscious by her sister in the bathroom, while eyewitness said she had done every routine preparation for the morning class before going into the bathroom, and has selected clothes to wear to the class, which she kept by the side of her bed. The University Director of Information and Public Relations, Zelani Bapa, said that Naja Atu, after bringing out her study materials in the morning, entered the bathroom to shower, while her sister waited for her so that they could both attend lectures together. But after she observed her undue long stay in the bathroom and followed up to check on her, only to find her lying unconscious on the floor of the bathroom in the female hostel at the Gubi campus of the university. Zelani said her sister raised the alarm and she was rushed to the university clinic for transfusion, but medical personnel were unable to find a vein in her body. Bapa maintained that, having been notified of the situation, Najatu's parents, who reside in Abuja, accepted the development and directed that the funeral, prayer and burial be accorded according to Islamic rites. She has been buried according to Islamic rites, while the leadership of the Student Union government in Bauchi, as well as other student union clubs and society groups, have issued various condolences message to the parents of the deceased and the school authorities, describing the development as unfortunate. The Borno state government says 6,900 suspected Boko Haram fighters are currently in custody, facing transitional justice. The State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Zuwairu Gambo, who disclosed this during the conclusion of a best practice dissemination and learning program organized by the Alamin Foundation for Peace and Development, held in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, said a total of 200,000 Boko Haram terrorists and their families have surrendered since the mass surrender began in 2021. According to her, nearly 9,000 people have been reintegrated into the society, and the scheme has achieved a very high notable success, stressing that transitional justice is a peace-building mechanism that seeks to address the legacies of severe atrocities and end recurring cycles of violent conflicts, a range of responses, including restitution, reconciliation, prosecution, and amnesty. The Executive Director of Alamin Foundation for Peace and Development, Hamsatu Alamin, said the surrendered individuals regretted their involvement with the Boko Haram and expressed remorse for their membership in the terrorist group, citing a lack of knowledge and the ease at which insurgents brainwashed them into captivity. News on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. The Southwest Executive Committee of the ruling All Progressives Congress has warned Nigerians not to turn the region into a theater of war. Ahead of the August 1st planned nationwide hunger protest, the Police Service Commission has called on Nigerians to give peace a chance and support the federal government in its determined efforts to improve the living conditions of its citizenry. The Commission made this call in a statement signed by Head Press and Public Relations Ikechukwu Ani on behalf of its chairman, DIG Hashimi Argungu. RTD disclosed this to newsmen. Argungu spoke on need for Nigerians to appreciate the efforts of the government in rebuilding the fractured Nigerian nation and avoid the temptation of falling prey to. DIG Argungu also commended the decision of the IGP to ensure commanders of police tactical teams observe the principles of professionalism and adherence to the rule of law in managing public demonstrations as heartwarming and reassuring, while the IGP's decision to withdraw officers from extra services was in right direction to ensure that more men are deployed and fully prepared to provide immediate support to prevent the escalation of violence. The PSC chairman then enjoined police officers in the country to rise to the occasion and defend the nation's fragile democracy, adding that the commission will always reward hard work and commitment to national security. Organizers of the planned August 1st to 10, 2024 hardship protest in Nigeria have unveiled details of the protest upon the request of the Director General of Police Kayode Egbetokun. The details including venues and locations where the intended protest would take place were contained in a letter by Ebun Olu Adegboruwa, SAN, and attorney to the organizers addressed to the Inspector General of Police. Meanwhile, the Adegboruwa asked the IGP to provide the contact details of police officers designated to cover the protest, while Egbetokun had agreed to provide security for the planned protesters in a letter addressed to Adegboruwa on Monday. The police had also invited Adegboruwa for a meeting on Tuesday for last-minute planning to schedule hardship protests amid the rising cost of living in Nigeria. The military and the police have commenced a massive nationwide deployment of soldiers and police personnel ahead of the August 1st NBAC governance protest planned by some youth and civil society groups. Eyewitness said the security agencies, including Nigeria's Security and Civil Defense Corps, have put their personnel on red alert in anticipation of the proposed nationwide rally. The rally organized to draw government's attention to the economic hardship faced by citizens. The organizers, who have refused appeals by the presidency and police authorities to abandon the demonstrations, want an improvement in the soaring cost of living and the reversal of some harsh government policies, particularly the removal of petrol subsidy. The subsidy removal, along with ongoing security issues on farming regions, has led to increased transportation costs and subsequent food inflation. Many states have distanced themselves from the impending protest, which government, prominent persons, and groups fear might be hijacked. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, confirmed the troops' deployment but said there was nothing new about it, noting that the soldiers have always been deployed across the country for counter-terrorism operations. The federal government has created centers across the country where Nigerians can purchase a 50-kilogram bag of rice for 40,000 naira. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, who disclosed this on the outcome of the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu in the State House, Abuja, said the development was one of the several initiatives by the Tinubu administration to ease living conditions for citizens. He said the nationwide protest scheduled to begin on August 1st were unnecessary since President Tinubu is already protesting on behalf of the people, and argued that all the demands of the protest organizers were being met. He enumerated that recent efforts by the federal government, which distributed 740 trucks of grains to states, declaring that the 50-kilogram bags of rice can now be obtained for 40,000 naira at designated centers nationwide. He said the federal government expects the price of food items to reduce since the rainy season is here, adding that the student loan scheme was expected to kickstart the disbursement of CNG kits as part of efforts to ease the cost of living, and blamed the unavoidable logistical impediments for the delay in the rollout of the CNG buses. Chairman of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, Babatunde Emilola Gazal, says the 16 local government areas in Ogun State may run into financial hitches and may not be able to pay staff salaries unless the recent Supreme Court judgment is reviewed to increase the federal government allocation to states. Emilola Gazal, the immediate past chairman of Ijebu-Ode local government area, said his local government, amongst others, were perpetually in debt because the monthly allocation from the was always insufficient. He said Abeokuta South, Abeokuta North and Odede were all so affected, adding that the augmentation of the state government had always been the saving grace to meet the monthly financial obligations. Emilola Gazal, who disclosed this at a press briefing held at the press center of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Ogun State Council at Ike-Ilowo, Abeokuta, said the Supreme Court judgment, 16 local governments in the state can't pay salaries of their staff. Beginning from August 2024, the federal government will stop paying the monthly allocation for local government areas to State and Local Government Joint Allocation Accounts Committee, JAAC, which is currently jump-starting the implementation of the Supreme Court judgment that ruled that allocation from the federal accounts should be paid directly to the local government accounts. This is coming in view of the landmark judgment of the Supreme Court that affirmed that the financial autonomy for Nigeria's 774 local government areas, in their ruling, the 7-man panel with Justice Lawal Garba presiding, declares that sections 162 subsections 4, 5 and 6 of the 1999 Constitution as amended did not provide for existence of JAAC for both states and LGAs. The Minister of Finance and Coordination Minister for the Economy, Wale Edun, who disclosed this during an interactive session with journalists, explained that the June allocation released to the states immediately after the Supreme Court's verdict was as a result of the inability of the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, to get the certified true copy of the Apex Court judgment. The FAAC committee comprises commissioners of finance from the 36 states of the Federation, the AGF representatives of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, as well as the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. The CBN and Customs added that a certified true copy of the Supreme Court judgment is currently in possession of the AGF, and letters had been written to all parties affected by the verdict, as copies of the Supreme Court judgment were also attached to those letters. He explained that ongoing to court was the last resort for the federal government, as some of the local government secretariats have been overrun with weeds. In other news, Chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Malam Jalal Arabi, says 30 Nigerians died during the just concluded Hajj pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia. Arabi, who disclosed this at a post-Hajj press briefing in Abuja, said about 4 victims passed away as a result of the heat wave recorded during the Hajj exercise. The NARCON boss said the circumstances that led to President Bola Tinubu's approval of 90 billion naira subsidy for the pilgrimage exercise on the heels of the increment of Hajj fares that saw pilgrims pay as much as 9 million naira, amongst other issues with private operators. Arabi also said NARCON devised a distribution strategy that played a crucial role in ensuring that all stakeholders involved in the 2024 Hajj benefited from the government support, adding that all registered intending pilgrims, except those on HSS, were required to pay a balance of 1,900,000 naira, since the 90 billion was not sufficient to make up for the balance. He said the Hajj subsidy was transparently utilized and further gave assurances of improving the processes to ensure equitable access to facilities and services for all future pilgrims. The federal government has warned it will not tolerate any form of corruption and indiscipline amongst officers and men of the Road Safety Corps. The secretary to the government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, disclosed this on Tuesday in Abuja during his first strategic meeting with sectors and zonal commanding officers across the 36 states and FCT. Akume, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, General Office Services Manager, Dr. Maurice Mbaeri, said that the President's administration was expecting greater efforts towards achieving zero road accidents in the country and urged the senior officers to live above board and monitor the activities of personnel for effective traffic control. Akume expressed delight at the zeal with which the corps was poised at preparing its grounds for the formidable task of delivering safer roads to the general public, adding that the appointment came with great expectations and confidence in its ability to deliver desired results based on the antecedents and pedigree. According to him, FRSC should work assiduously and create a safer monitoring environment towards the realization of the renewed hope agenda of the administration. And now on to business news this evening. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Special Advisor on Revenue and Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zak Adedeji, says Nigeria's decision on sale of crude oil in Naira will save the country an estimated $7.3 billion annually. Adedeji, who disclosed this while justifying President Tinubu ordered the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to sell crude in Naira on a month-to-month basis. The decision will reduce the foreign expenditure by roughly $660 million. The FIRS boss said the move by the president would cut down on Nigeria's heavy reliance on foreign exchange for crude oil imports, which accounts for roughly 30 to 40% of its forex expenditure, while an estimated annual savings of $7.3 billion and will reduce foreign monthly forex expenditure on petroleum products by an estimated $660 million. This comes after Tinubu ordered the NNPCL to sell crude to Dangote refinery In other news, 15 lawmakers under the aegis of the Rescue Group have called on Mele Kyari, the group chief executive officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, to resign. The group claimed that mismanagement under Kyari's leadership at the NNPCL was responsible for the woes being recorded by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. A statement signed in Abuja on Tuesday by its leader, Honorable We'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll continue with the rest of the stories.
jack us up and down like this now?
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask, oh?
Because this road where they see, so it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so e no dey, light o usai, the infrastructure nko e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No vex, now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes, we saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
Their behavior not good.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Lawmakers under the aegis of the Economy Rescue Group have called on Ole Kyari, the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, to resign. The group claimed that mismanagement under the Kyari leadership at the NNPCL was responsible for the woes being recorded by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. A statement signed in Abuja on Tuesday by its leader, Honorable Esosa Eyawe, lawmaker representing Oredo Federal Constituency of the House of Representatives in Abuja, insists that Kyari should be suspended pending outcome of House of Representatives Joint Committee on Petroleum, Downstream and Midstream. Forensic investigation into the state of the National Oil Company and the downstream and midstream sectors as a whole. The lawmakers accused the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited CEO and other management staff of the corporation of undermining Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, and declared there must be shown the way out until the forensic investigation embarked upon by the House of Representatives through the Downstream and Midstream Joint Committee was concluded, in order to avoid any act of sabotage. The group advised President Tinubu to wield the big stick by suspending the NNPCL top echelons till the probe is over, while backing the House forensic investigation into the presence of middlemen in trading, indiscriminate issuance of licenses, availability of laboratories, other products into the country, amongst others. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has declared to increase crude oil production to 2 million barrels per day by the end of the year. The country's daily production rose from 2.27 million barrels in June to 1.6 million in July. Speaking during a meeting with maritime stakeholders at the Nigerian Navy headquarters on Tuesday, the group managing director of NNPCL, Mele Kyari, expressed optimism that the targets would be met, and NNPCL was fully committed to achieving it. Represented by Folarun Shaw Karim, managing director of Pipeline NNPCL, Kyari urged security agencies to continue their efforts against oil theft and pipeline vandalism to help the economy's targets. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Gala, said Nigeria's development has faced numerous complex security challenges over the past few decades, including violent agitations, oil theft, pipeline vandalism, and piracy and sea robbery, adding that the issues were driven by the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, as well as communal clashes, poverty, and unemployment. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has ordered the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency to suspend the increase in navigational charges by 80%. A statement by the Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection of NAMA, Abdullahi Musa, said NAMA's intention to raise its navigation charges by 800% was a decision that raised concerns from both passengers and stakeholders in the aviation sector. The Managing Director of NAMA, Farouk Umar, while speaking at the League of Airports and Aviation Correspondents annual conference held in Lagos, stressed that the agency relies on statutory charges for managing the airspace, adding that the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency had proposed an increase in its charges to sustain its operations and ensure the safety and efficiency of Nigeria's airspace. But the NAMA's boss position were overruled by Keyamo. The agency spokesperson said the decision to suspend the hike in charges was in response to the directive of the aviation minister, adding that the decision follows the minister's recognition of the current economic challenges faced by Nigerians. He also said the minister emphasized the need for further consultation before implementing any changes, highlighting the importance of being sensitive to the plight of Nigerians amidst the economic challenges. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu says the federal government is ready to support local industries to find sustainable solutions to the metering gap among electricity consumers. Adelabu, who disclosed this during a recent visit to the Lagos office of CWG PLC, a company pioneering smart metering technology in Nigeria, said his visit was evidence that the government is ready to support local industries, adding that local meter manufacturing companies must play a major role in reducing the importation of everything they need to close the metering gap. He said local industries are germane to the sustainability of the industry and assured that the federal government would patronize local industries as a mark of support. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission also said in a report that only 5.86 million of the 13.1 million electricity customers were metered, leaving a metering gap of over 7 million unmetered customers. The Chief Operating Officer of CWG PLC, Afolabi Sobande, while appreciating the Minister's visit and facility tour, said CWG PLC has established itself as a trailblazer in the smart metering industry, dedicated to addressing the substantial metering gap in Nigeria, adding that the company's cutting edge in technology will not only enhance the accuracy of electricity billing, but also promote efficient energy consumption amongst consumers. He stressed that CWG locally assembled meters contribute to reducing the high charge associated with estimated billing, therefore fostering a more transparent and reliable power sector. telecoms giant MTN has shut all its stores and service centers across Nigeria. This was coming on the heels of outrage by some of its subscribers across the country after the network provider barred their lines. In a viral video on social media on Monday, a mob is seen destroying a barricade fence just outside the MTN office. The clip showed a large crowd of angry subscribers vandalizing the telecommunications company office in Festac Town area of Lagos State in response to the network blocking subscribers due to a mismatch in their national identification numbers and SIM registration. However, the Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Hundeyin, in a response to the circulated video on X.com, stated that the DPO of Festac and his men have successfully restored normalcy and peace at the scene. Importation of vehicles into Nigeria dropped from 28,024 units in the first quarter of 2023 to 10,991 units in the same quarter of 2024, representing a 60.8% decrease. Nigerian Port Authorities said its ports performance reports January to March 2024 showed that Nigeria's ports welcomed 251 ships in the first quarter of 2024. According to the document, the figure represented a 4.3% decrease from the 275 ships that visited the nation's seaports within the same period in 2023, and also showed that the total cargo volumes declined within the period under review, reflecting a contraction in trade activities and potentially signaling underlying communic challenges or shifts in import-export balance. It also said the 4.3% reduction in ship visits could be attributed to a variety of factors, including changes in global shipping routines and adjustments in shipping line strategies, or the impact of economic policies affecting maritime trade. In terms of cargo traffic, the total cargo outputs, excluding crude oil, reached 21,186,348 metric tons within the period of the review on 2023, as opposed to 18 million metric tons handled in the first quarter of 2023, showing an increase in 16.1%. Adding that the performance indicators for the period showed some positive trends. Despite the decrease in ship traffic, and average turnaround from vessels improved to 4.6 days from 5.1 days in 2023. Senate Committee on the Capital Markets, the Security and Exchange Commission, and stakeholders in the capital market agreed to evolve practicable strategies to address the issue of unclaimed dividends in the country. The agreement was reached at a one-day public hearing organized by the Senate panel to find a lasting solution to the issue and to suggest further amendments to the Finance Act. Shareholders at the forum stressed the need for proper sensitization about the activities of the Security Exchange Commission. They also mandated Security and Exchange Commission to deploy modern technology to identify owners of the unclaimed dividends and come up with comprehensive data. All the participants also agreed that the Director General of the Security and Exchange Commission, Dr. Emomotimi Agama, should within the next 6 months forward to the Senate panel the necessary strategies on how to reclaim unclaimed dividends in the Debt Management Office. The DMO, according to the stakeholders, had no business keeping the 10% of the fund as currently empowered by the Finance Act, while the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, said the forum was organized to identify the root causes of unclaimed dividends and to chart a path forward that would empower investors, protect their interests, and unleash the full potential of the capital markets. While the chairman of the Senate panel, Osita Izunaso, said necessary legislation was vital to instill confidence in the capital market. Director General of the Nigeria Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Olushola Obadimu, has advised cocoa processors to engage more with the National Agency for Food Drug Administration and Control to find a common ground following their disagreement over the agency's proposed Export Regulation 2024. The Cocoa Processors Association of Nigeria have declared their disapproval of NAFDAC's proposed regulation, calling it a duplication of efforts and an overlap of government agency functions. The chairman of COPAN, Felix Oladujoye, claimed NAFDAC's proposed policy would stifle the already burdened non-oil export sector, particularly the cocoa processing industry, and questioned the agency's reach in issuing business certifications in the cocoa industry. The NACCIMADG said it sought a resolution to the disagreement between the agency and cocoa industry players, and NAFDAC needs to actively work to be perceived as a standard enforcement organization and not a revenue-generating agency of government. He stressed the need for more engagement by NAFDAC that will be more beneficial to both parties and reassure them that the intention is not to make more money from them, but to help them make more money. Federal government is requesting for a $500 million loan from the World Bank to improve dam safety and enhance water resource management across the Federation. The loan is expected to address the country's water security challenges and boost agricultural productivity through the Sustainable Power and Irrigation for Nigeria's project, and according to the World Bank's project information document for the proposed project posted on its website. The SPIN project focuses on 4 critical areas, which include constitutional strengthening and capacity building, irrigation and modernization, improvements in dam operations and safety, and project management. The proposed approval date for the SPIN project is September 6, 2024, and the area will reinforce federal and state institutions responsible for water resource management, including developing national dam safety guidelines, training for water resources and irrigation management, and creating a comprehensive hydropower master plan. The document has over 400 dams, and many of which are in dire need of rehabilitation, while the devastating 2022 floods, which cost an estimated $6 billion in economic damage, underscored the urgent need for improved dam safety and water management. For the second area of the project, the federal government plans to rehabilitate and modernize 40,000 hectares of irrigated land. It will also establish and empower water users association to manage irrigation schemes efficiently, while the third area will focus on rehabilitating and enhancing the safety of prior dams, including conducting risk assessments, preparing emergency action plans, and implementing structural safety improvements. In international news this evening, Venezuela braced food demonstrations after 4 people died and dozens were buried when the authorities broke up protests against President Nicolas Maduro's claims of victory in the country's hotly disputed weekend election. Security forces had fired tear gas and rubber bullets on Monday at angry protesters who claimed the election was stolen and flooded the streets chanting "Freedom, freedom," and this government is going to fall. Some ripped down and burned Maduro's campaign posters, while at least 2 statues of Hugo Chavez and the late authoritarian socialist who led Venezuela for more than a decade and handpicked Maduro as his successor were knocked down by protesters. Attorney General Tarek William Saab said 749 criminals had been arrested during the protest and face charges of resisting authority and/or, in most serious cases, terrorism, after the opposition fiercely contest the outcome of Sunday's election, which authorities say was won by Maduro with 51.2% of votes cast compared to 42.2% for Edmundo González Urrutia. Opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, who was replaced by Urrutia on the ballot after she was barred from running by Maduro-aligned courts, said voting records showed Urrutia had a mathematically irreversible lead. William Calley, a former U.S. Army lieutenant convicted of war crimes in a Vietnam-era tragedy called the My Lai massacre, is dead. The Washington Post said Calley died on April 28 in Gainesville, Florida, but his death had not been publicized until a recent public records search. While in 1971, Calley became the only member of the U.S. Army found guilty of war crimes over the My Lai massacre, one of the darkest chapters in U.S. military history. It occurred on March 16, 1964, where Calley Brigade entered the village of My Lai based on faulty intelligence that enemy Viet Cong soldiers were disguised among civilians there. Calley, aged 24 at the time, ordered soldiers to kill villagers even though they had found no evidence of enemy combatants. While the massacre involved the torture, rape and slaughter of hundreds of innocent Vietnamese, the U.S. Army covered up the events at My Lai for more than a year afterward, and the death toll of the massacre remains undisputed, but U.S. estimates place the number of dead between 347 to 504 unarmed civilians, most of whom were women, children, and elderly men. Pham Tong Kong, a survivor of the massacre, regrets that Calley never returned to Vietnam before his death. Landslides in India, triggered by pounding monsoon rains, struck tea plantations and killed at least 93 people, with at least 250 others rescued from mud and debris. The southern coastal state of Kerala has been battered by torrential downpours, with blocked roads into the disaster area in Wayanad district, complicating relief efforts, while 128 people have been hospitalized for treatment after their rescue. Wayanad is farmed at the tea estates that crisscross its hilly countryside and which rely on a large pool of casual laborers for planting and harvest, while several estates in district were hit by 2 successive landslides before dawn when most of their inhabitants were asleep. Images published by the National Disaster Response showed rescue crews trudging the mud in search of survivors and carrying bodies on stretchers out of the area, while homes were kicked down, brown sludge on the force of the landslide scattered cars, corrugated irons and other debris around the disaster site. India's army said it had deployed more than 200 soldiers to the area to assist state security forces and fire crews in search and rescue efforts, while Kerala State Exercise Minister M.B. Rajesh said more than 250 people had been rescued so far. On sports this evening, Shooting Stars will participate in a pre-season tournament in Enugu. A statement released by club's media officer Tosin Omojola said the tournament will start on Thursday, August 1st, 2024. Rangers, Eyimba, Kano Pillars and Remo Stars will also take part in the tournament, while other invited teams are FC Kalon of Sierra Leone, Cotton FC from Benin Republic, Gor Mahia of Kenya, and Brazilian side Corinthians. Benga Ogumbote's side also took part in the ongoing preseason tournaments in Ikene. Arsenal is ready to hijack Chelsea's bid to sign Victor Osimhen from Napoli. The Gunners were amongst the clubs keen on the Nigerian striker last summer, and Mikel Arteta cooled his interest in Osimhen this year, instead making an attempt to bring in Benjamin Sesko. With Sesko choosing to stay with RB Leipzig, Arteta is looking at other options in the market. Chelsea is currently proposing a loan plus swap deal that will see Romelu Lukaku head to Napoli while Osimhen arrives at Stamford Bridge. Arsenal is now reported to be back in the race, although they have not tabled an offer yet, while Arteta would consider Sporting Lisbon striker Victor Gyökeres, and the Swedish forwards scored 29 goals and provided 10 assists in 33 league games for the Verde Brancos. Super Eagles forward Kelechi Iheanacho will sign a 2-year contract with La Liga club Sevilla this week. Iheanacho is expected in Spain on Tuesday to undergo his medicals and will sign the dotted lines afterwards. The versatile striker will join the former UEFA Europa League winners on a free transfer. Iheanacho left Premier League club Leicester City last month following the expiration of his contract and will reunite with Sevilla with fellow Super Eagles star Chidera Ejuke, who also teamed up with the La Liga club as a free agent. Super Falcons forward Asisa Toshola has rallied her teammates ahead of Wednesday's crucial clash against Japan. Randy Waldron's side will be up against the Nadeshiko in their last group game at the Stade de la Beaujour, Nantes. The Super Falcons lost their opening 2 games to Brazil and Spain. The West Africans must beat the Asian champions to have any chance of making it to the quarterfinals. And Oshola declared that they must give their best to get favorable results against the Japanese. The encounter will kick off at 4 p.m. Nigerian time. In entertainment news this evening, Afrobeat singer Wande Cole has claimed to have pioneered the new sound of Nigeria. He's made the assertion while speaking on his influence in the music industry, adding that he inspired the current wave of Afrobeat artists to gain global recognition. He also said he loved working with new producers because music never ends. American singer Taylor Swift says she is in complete shock following the stabbing attack at a dance and yoga class in the United Kingdom themed around her music. The Merseyside police confirmed that a 9-year-old girl had died of her injuries in a regional hospital a day after the attack, while 2 other girls aged 6 and 7 died during the Monday attack in Southport, a coastal town in northwest England. 5 other kids and 2 adults remained hospitalized in critical condition. In a statement by the police, which said a 17-year-old male was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder and a knife was seized after the attack. Reacting via her Instagram account, Swift said the horror of the attack was washing over her continuously. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Assembly comments Tinubu on minimum wage bill. Suspected bandits shut down farms in Zamfara. 300 level varsity students dies in bathroom. MTN shuts down office nationwide. Vietnam-era US war criminal is dead. Arsenal to sign Victor Osimhen. Wande Cole claims new generation sounds. I am David Obasi. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on all our socials. Our social media platform, Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook, YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for staying tuned.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very family. Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask, oh?
Because this road where they see, so it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so no dey. Light usai. The infrastructure the content to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, well everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No vex, now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, it's 8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello? Now my body network there. I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
That behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently. Make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country. I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't buga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say, nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract we will do that time now? They don't pay.
But first, you see the house rent with the old since. We go first call caretaker, take the money, slap him.
Beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy why they pay for club. Where me and boys they shout beer in our house, I go pay that one. You remember say me and tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Okay, they pay you money now. We don't they beg caretaker? Why would they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us time? Money can't come now. You won't divert time. You said na corruption. Corruption, not in my house and not in my country.
Sure.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
Kasali! Kasali, I hope so my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Ah, okay, you don't ready. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now in the cause more delay.
Which instruction?
Maybe now you say make I change the meter, make you no read again.
Which time I make you change meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like this now? Eh? You don't get sense. You don't read the text message. Nobody I want to send them to. Like Kasali, my electrician, make it come house, call me do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You the electrician?
Your electrician?
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician, make it come help you adjust your meter, make it for no read again, Abi. So you said you want join people where be say they no want they pay NEPA bill again, Abi. Oga, you no good now. You don't use them, you don't behave like all these stiff people.
Oh, what you change from your motor? What you change from?
Full light. Fuel gauge. Speedometer.
For what you know, you for come out for home my motor. I better identify for me.
Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. And something come backfire. Now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
They greet you.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
What you want to buy?
Potato. Small basket. I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy. Make her show you something. What? What in this one? Madam, this one now the chemical what they put on for the plantain make her ripe up.
So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
No water, no be chemical.
Water. You know say Pela I don't talk and say water and not be enemy. Drink am.
Where you collect that water, drink am.
I just stop finish. See my belly. After it don't big. I just stop drink water finish. I don't drink.
Wait, can drink am now. At the sell plantain I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe go. That's why I talk now corruption. Corruption. Not be for this kaswa, come not be for this country. Now me take am.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
beyond the line, across the ocean, to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara. We bring all sport news, live analysis, discussions on trending stories in politics, sports, and documentary.
Bologna. Details of this and many more will be yours in RGF. All right, welcome back from that break. For those joining us, it's Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television Network, and I have Emmanuel Michael here. The competition event will span 2 days in the north in the Kwara State capital. Athletes interested in participating are required to complete their registration by the tournament start date. And it looks like some of the lead and natural talents is what Kwara State are doing there.
Yes, that is the way to go for me because new talents are out there. You take a look at the Nigerian contingent for the tennis event in this year's Paris Olympic game. I think they are just 4, and unfortunately, all 4 of them have been knocked out of the competition. because we don't have squad depth, we don't have the people that truly can do us proud. But then we have many of these talent cut across different states, and I think Kwara State is also delving into that area of trying to also improve or develop tennis generally. I think it's a nice one. Let's hope that the aim and objective of this one is going to be achieved.
After losing 1-11, 3-11, 3-11, 5-1. For me, it's just about the way we struggle. I mean, clearly, at that level, you just know that the struggle is just too much. And the way we are hosted out is not a good one at all. I mean, Aruna Kwade was able to win one set. She was able to win one set, but those one set does not count for nothing because when you're losing 11-3, 11-1, 11-2, it doesn't tell well as I mean at that level. It just tells the difference between what we have at the level of Europe and that of the continent. Very vast, and in fact you can't even go start comparing the likes of the Asian guys because they themselves they are good, so good that we are nowhere to be found.
Sure, you know, immediately, I don't know, Quadri, who more like our flag bearer, more like the flagship of the team, got knocked out in the first phase of the competition. I know it that psychologically is going to affect the rest of the players out there, especially the one that are making their first time appearance at the Paris Olympic game. I think it also affected them because when you are hoping on someone who you are counting on as one of the best to be knocked out very early, I mean, your hope of progressing through is even dampened. So I think it actually started when Haruna Quadri was knocked out early in the competition. It also affected the rest three players of the Nigerians out there. And for me, not a good outing at all. And it's a big worry. It's a big worry. 3 or 4 of our tennis stars went to this year's Paris Olympic game, got knocked out at very early stage. I think for me, not encouraging. But then it's also pointing one finger to a certain direction, which is that we need to improve in terms of tennis development, because I think this very one is a national disaster for me, because it's too bad that we could not even a single of the players out there was able to win, you know, a game. I think for me it's a big worry.
It's a big worry, and that worry is not just about winning, not winning. But a lot of people have been asking now, what next now for the contingent, table tennis contingent at the Olympics?
Now that all our contingent has been knocked out, what next is for them to come back, go back to their different clubs, possibly have a meeting with the Nigerian Table Tennis Federation in order to find a way forward, chart a way forward, create new ideas. What are the things that were missing? What are the things that we didn't get right? So I'm trying to correct it and wait for other games as well, so that possibly maybe next outing we can do better compared to what we did this year.
And of course, we have a lot. One will now be thinking the Table Tennis Federation, because since they are all units from table tennis, I mean different units from different sporting units, you know, participating in this one. When your federation is hosted out like football, we don't have any, except for the Falcons. So the moment they are hosted out, we need to ask a lot of questions. And I'm thinking that table tennis federation president should be thinking of way forward at this point in time now. And with this way forward, we have been singing it as song for the past 10 years. You know, when Aruna Quadri was at his best, what can be done to bridge the gap between Nigeria, not just other continent, because for me, I think that we have dominated the continent for some time. Because tennis is one game that is loved by Nigerians. So what can be done to bridge this gap and ensure that we are competitive when it comes to global tennis championship, especially the WTT series?
Haruna Quadri in terms of performance and achievement, none. The likes of Fatima Bello, if young them, are doing their best, but their best is not good enough. So for me, what can we do in order to bridge this gap? A lot. Take a look at what the Kwara State is doing. It is a deliberate and a positive action taken so far in order to organize competition across the state for tennis lovers out there. Come there, showcase your talent. If you are good enough, you'll be picked and sponsored, promoted, and the proper care will be given to it. Possibly go off the shores of the country, get more exposure, get more experience, add that to what you know already, and that is how you get to bridge the gap. But then Or keep relying all our hope on one man, talking about Haruna Quadri. Whenever he doesn't deliver, whenever he fails to meet up to the high expectation, and of course, you know, a whole lot of responsibilities repose on him because we see him as the only light for us out there. Whenever he falters, invariably the rest of the players actually, you know, falters as well, because most of the players are looking up to him, you know, as the flagship man, you know, to anchor the tennis event for Team Nigeria. Whenever he's not fit, last time out when he got food poisoning in one of the competition we attended here in Lagos, that 24 hours before that very one, he got food poisoning. He couldn't take part in it. Guess what? All our Nigerian representatives, they got knocked out in the competition. Not even a single game did they win. So I think the burden of responsibility is too much on Haruna Quadri, and we need other hundreds of Haruna Quadri to relieve him of this burden. How do we get the...
You know, we are. There are sports when you look at yourself, you say we are declining. For example, in football, we are declining in age football now. Age grade football where we used to be, we are known for, we are gradually declining, and that's why we don't even have a team at the Olympic. The same nation that won the Olympic in 1996, gold medal for that. So it is just like Argentina and missing from the Olympic. It is a taboo. But you ask yourself, what has gone wrong? What was working for us before? Because it's one thing to say, let's go back to the drawing board and let's the federation should do this, do that, do this. How does the table tennis evolve and is developed? What are they doing right? So I think that our leaders needs to, because when we say go back to the drawing board is a place for you discuss, look at a post-mortem of what you've done. And so I ask, what are they doing right? Like now, what we've seen the Chinese. I watched their games, and I think that we are far away from what. If you see the way they play, they display, you just tell yourself that, man, can we have players like this? Who are.
I mean, it was a deliberate action.
Yeah.
They take this as a profession that most of these young stars, after they go to school, they are back to the training hall.
On daily basis.
On daily basis. These are people that have dedicated themselves that this is my profession, I want to improve. The facilities are there. The organizers make sure that everything that you need professionally is provided for you. Sometimes they get to house some of these players as well. Feed them, accommodate them, pay them some stipends while they are still in school. Go to school, come back to school, take your siesta, get back to work. Maybe after a little rest, you go back to training. That is what they do. So they take it. I mean, it is especially maybe weekend, where you say maybe weekdays, people, because of the too much engagement, they don't have that. During weekend, go to the tennis golf. How many people do you see that take tennis as a hobby? I mean, just this is my profession. Except those of them that do it maybe more like fun. So that intentional plan is not there. And it's a big challenge on the Table Tennis Federation leaders out there. Because if the head is not good, then it becomes a challenge.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.